Right, let's get into it. Okay, so we had a question. We were starting back with Councillor Hewitt, I think. With how many questions? You got a few there?
No, I'm on aggregates, so
Okay, good on you.
that's one of my pet topics. Mike, you ready for me? Well, if we page 65 and 85, and as you know, we have some huge aggregate inundation issues in Central Hawke's Bay, and I look at the year-end results and I see a couple of not achieves in terms of maintaining effective flood control networks that provides protection, and I have some ratepayers in my neck of the woods who are paying considerable rates, and for them to see this not achieved and they're thinking what's happening with their rates, it's a little bit please explain.
Well, yes, we have an aggregate problem and therefore we are losing capacity. That is highlighted here and that's why we haven't achieved it. The solution is not straightforward and potentially could cost a whole lot more. So we are working through that with the Aggregate and Quarry Association. They had a meeting with extractors week before last, to really see whether we are able to work together on that. If we can't work together on that, we have a major problem down there. We just need to decide how to handle it. But you know, one issue is who is benefiting. The ratepayers of Central Hawke's Bay are benefiting. How do we deal with it? If it is a significant increase in cost, are they willing to pay? And that's the whole process we need to work through. There is no easy answer here. I know that people are paying a high quantity of rates. We are reviewing the rating scheme and we'll continue to monitor the situation. Certainly if there was an easy answer, that would be great, but there isn't.
So just for clarity though, so you've got on page 85, just to follow this up, no incidents of erosion, no incidences, and then you've got not achieved because a flood occurred. Is it as simple as that? So if the Waddle River, for example, got out of its bank, the little scheme there would be a non-achieved, and on that basis nature's won the battle basically, isn't it? Or
yeah, I mean the Ongonga flood exceeded the capacity of the flood defences there, and that is obviously there are solutions, more money to increase the size of the flood protection. So how do we work through that?
Right, I'm just saying that, but you've got a very clear target.
Yes.
And a quantum of money to achieve that target, but sometimes, you know, we get a bigger event than we've planned for or something.
Yes, absolutely.
So just in the description, it is unfortunate that, you know, we've not achieved. Where I'm just wondering whether that's. I mean, it's good to have a good target and etc. But sometimes things get out of your control.
The full scheme review is the issue. We start date 2013-14, completion date 2014-15. That is the area that we aren't achieving. We have not commenced that scheme review yet, and so that is why we haven't achieved it. And that's a resource issue. Yeah. So, yes. Yep.
Thank you. You good? Councillor Barker, I think, was next, and then Councillor Belford.
Thank you. I'm on page 18, I think it is. Yeah, 18. And I'm at the top one, and I'm on the Dalton Street property. We spent 101.275 million. So could I be advised, please, what has been the total cost to this council for the remediation work on this building?
The estimated cost sometime at the beginning of the job was about 2.2 million. The actual physical works cost, I can't remember the exact numbers, but around 1.8 million off the top of my head, but somewhere in that order. And in addition, there are obviously professional costs and legal costs. And those would be, I haven't done a total, but we wouldn't be far off 2.2 million.
So the total cost of the remediation work will be 2.2 million, approximately?
Including legal legal and professional input, yes.
Could we have a detailed report on that to the next meeting, please, setting out what the costs are?
Probably best at the moment if you wait on that one, and the reason for that is that the lawyers are trying to find a date for mediation. Parties have agreed to mediate. We are struggling to find a date. At this stage, they are trying to find a date in November. If that comes off, then I would expect that we can have a full picture given to council at the end of that process, late this year or early next year.
Well, thank you for that. But I think what I would like to have is a cost to this council as of now. I don't want to be waiting for some mediation. I think that whatever the costs are to council as to date,
Yep.
council should be provided with that if that's what we wish, and
Yep.
I wish it.
No, okay, well that's probably a one-line number. Is that all you're looking for?
Well, if you want to make it cost or mediation, legal, professional, so make it 3 lines, I'm happy
Yep.
with that too.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Councillor Belford.
I actually have a request for more information generated by this. Is this in order now, or? If we look at, okay, if we look at page 4 of that's attachment 1, there are a number of references in here to work that has been done, not done, charged in one place or another place because of the demands of the dam investigation and development process. And anecdotally, we hear comments from time to time about this or that project has been delayed because of staff being redeployed to work on dam issues. And in reports that are given to us from time to time, that same comment is made. So my question is really, if you look at like Project 182, 192, 310, 315, there are comments of that sort. Is it possible for us to get a report of some kind as to what normal work that we would be expecting of the council has in fact been deferred, delayed, abandoned, whatever, as a result of people and resources being applied to the dam? There's a lot of issue raised about this. We're going to have a conversation later today about more resourcing of that sort. And I think we are owed some explanation as to what kind of work is not getting done because of the level of engagement with the dam.
Happy to put something together there. Can I just get some clarification from you, Councillor? You keep referring to the dam. A number of the comments in the explanation of the variances refer to Plan Change 6. But you're quite clear that you just really want to look at the work that's been done on behalf of RWSS. Thank you.
Just while we're here, I just see an opportune on page 5. Can you take us through the 96,000 variance? And I understand the Mexted appeal was a part of that. Can you perhaps elaborate on that, please, Mr. Drury?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. The total variance from
page 5, and talking about the variance in the actual council paper.
Yeah, it'll be page 3 is where I lead into it.
In the council paper, and then...
Oh, okay.
No, page 3. Okay, no, I'll leave it to you.
Okay, it's attachment 1, page 3, where we give an overview of the variation from reforecast. And on page 3 there, attachment 1, we state that the top table gives you an indication of how the reforecast deficit was established, and it started off at 847,000 as per the plan, and then of course we've got some expenditure carry forwards there in the June 14 meeting, so hence we got down to reforecast surplus of 500,000. So that's where we wanted to be at the end of the year. That's where we believe we would be. We were 96,000 higher than that, so we've got 96,000 unfavourable, and on that page 3 I allude to the costs of which weren't foreseen at the time of the reforecast of approximately 66,000 for the appeal for the the hearing for the Mexted Williams appeal and Waira, their Environment Court costs, and the appeal has now been resolved. So that appeal, I believe, has been around for a long time. It came to a head in the last couple of months of the old financial year, and that caused a 66,000 bump that we didn't see. So I suppose what I'm saying there is that if that didn't happen, we'd have been very close to where we wanted to be on forecast. But if you wanted more detail on that appeal, then Ian Maxwell would fill in those gaps. But apart from that, there are fluctuations. There's always fluctuations through the statements. So you've got some pluses and you've got some minuses. And we like to think that if there's some pluses, we've got enough minuses to offset them. And in this case, we did. So it's in a way, it's a pleasing result. I mean, we're pretty close to where we want to be. And the sheets 4, 6, 7 give explanations of where some of the variances have occurred in projects and some background of why that's happened.
Is there any questions about that in particular? Or we've got everyone going now. Well, other questions? Councillor Scott? Or not relating to the Mexted? No Mexted? Okay. Councillor Scott.
Mr. Chairman, for several terms of council. If I can pick up all my questions, I've got a number, Mr. Chairman, relate to the actual draft of the annual report. So turning to page 30 of the attachments, one of the reports is against the Hill Country Afforestation Scheme and looking for alternatives. Can we get some idea of timing of that? Because my guess is that this is outside the period of this LTP, that we can look at this suggestion of the high performance Manuka as a solution to that. My guess is we're probably 5 years off actually knowing where we're going with that.
I've been advised by Convita that probably 2018 is a realistic time when we will have enough information to either prove or disprove the concept.
Mr. Chairman, would it be helpful if some indication was given there that this particular alternative to the Hill Country Afforestation, considering the consultation we did on this scheme when we were looking at return on our carbon prices, got such high support from the public? I think that some clarification around that might help. Okay, possible? Yep. Yep. Thank you. Can I carry on with my questions? Is it possible under the page 31, under the reporting back on Heat Smart, it merely refers to the fact that it's helping the region moving towards compliance. Actually, the investment in that scheme is helping with an awful lot more. So can we actually highlight some of the health benefits that are coming out of that scheme? I mean, only requires another sentence, but certainly we are contributing to healthier homes. And with the idea of the healthier homes is improved health outcomes. So if we could pick up on that. Mr. Chairman, I really question whether the strategic alliances needs to be in twice. Could we actually, because it's here and then it occurs again on page 35, could we just cross-reference one of those and shorten one of them?
Oh, the RBC?
Yeah. It just seems that we're not really adding anything by putting in that detail twice. And under the next paragraph on Nature Central, great that we've got it. Is it worthwhile? Is it effective? And if so, can we actually get a little bit of, it's all very well saying it's there, isn't this great, but what's it achieving? Is it achieving something? Is it? Silence.
Sorry.
Is it
Going on over here.
achieving something? Certainly there's plenty of potential there. There is a very different culture there between ourselves and Department of Conservation, which is working under this banner. It has been slower than we probably expected, and that is as a result of a significant restructuring in Department of Conservation, and still, you know, for them, their new structure, particularly their partnerships area, is finding their place in, you know, with all the external agencies they are working with. So it is a work in progress. I think, you know, there are still opportunities that need to be further explored.
Okay, thank you for that, in which case probably left as is fine, but it was a case of trying to understand whether it was contributing. Can I carry on? Right, if we go over to page 32, the reference is made to plan change 4 with the HPUD's study. There was actually a whole implementation strategy that was set out with what roles different councils had, and that was to be monitored and reported back. What has become of that over and above the adoption of plan change 4? And where does it get reported back now?
There were a number of the key elements from plan change 4, or the strategy was plan change 4 and the district plan review, as well as a medium density strategy. So we have actually just met again with a core tag on that, and getting the implementation plan and the working committee back up and running towards the end of this year, early next year. So we can make a note in here regarding the implementation committee and the plan going forward.
And perhaps, Mr. Chairman, sometime in the future it might be good to update council on what was with that and where it's going.
We've got a newsletter that we're or a briefing paper that we are putting together, and we can circulate it to all council.
Yeah, thank you.
Two more and I'll come back to you because there's others. So.
If I can then pick up on page 33, Mr. Chairman, with relation to the biodiversity strategy. This was actually extensively consulted on the timing of it, because we did expect to push it out much further originally, and following the public input into I think it was our previous annual plan, was it not? The whole timing was not this one we're reporting on, but the one before. The whole timing of it was brought forward, and money was found to actually put into that immediately. So is it worth sort of commenting on the fact that this is actually progressing at a earlier stage than was originally intended?
Can certainly add that detail, that's not a problem.
One more and then we'll go to Councillor Pipe, but we will come back. This will take as long as it takes because a lot of people, it's brand new to them, so I think it's worthwhile.
Under the RPC, if I go to page 35, Mr. Chairman, under the RPC report, it has commented that 2 people from that committee gained accreditation in the hearings committee. However, on this page, referring to the Māori committee, it just says they're also represented. Would it be worth actually also commenting there that further accreditation of hearings has occurred? Because there's one new, 2 members of that committee are now, of the Māori committee who sit on the hearing committee are, in fact, 3. In fact, I don't know that, but I think it should mention how many of the Māori committee are accredited commissioners.
Digest the rest of them. We'll get them in order. Councillor Pipe, you had your hand up.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Just on page 5, it was just I was looking at the unfavourable aspect with regards to environmental incident response, and it seems as though we're a victim of our own success there. The success of the education program that we ran has caused that unfavourable financial aspect. What do we have any plans for that, or how do you actually plan for that in the future? Because if we're going to get more, most probably, if we're going to be proceeding in that way.
Sure. So part of the long-term plan development processes, we have a specific focus on the consents compliance aspects of our work and how we cost recover from there, because the environment that we operate in has changed from the original model, and so we're reviewing that to say, is it still fit for purpose? The environmental incident response type activity is not something we can recover costs from individual consent holders on unless there's a prosecution that comes out of it, which is reasonably infrequent. So we need to look at how do we resource and fund that. So that'll be something that'll come to you through the long-term plan development.
Thank you. Councillor Barker, you were next, I think. No. Oh, you good. Oh, you were stretching.
Yeah, I have one, but it's I just have a general question. Sorry. My general question was, there seems to be a lot of red ink on these papers. Is there more than, because I haven't been here before with this, is there more red ink on this than what you'd expect, or is this about the amount of red ink that you'd expect?
Are you referring to over expenditure?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, not really. There's unders and overs.
I get that.
Yeah.
But I just thought there's quite a number of, when I looked through it, my first impression was a lot of red ink here, a lot of overs. Sorry, over expenditures, and I just thought, was this what you would normally expect, this amount?
I think budgets are tight, to be fair. I was a little surprised there were some unfavourables where I thought that'd be right on forecast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think to me it means that budgets have been tight. I mean, there's been a lot done this year, so yeah, there's probably a little bit more red ink.
That's answered my question. Thank you.
Right. So we're back to over here.
Back to me. I do have
Okay.
quite a list of questions. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. On page 35 of the narrative, it does refer to the Regional Plan Committee, and it just says since forming, there's been no formal mandate. Perhaps clarification around that should be that it's still waiting. The legislation has just been held up. It suggests that we've totally formed without mandate. From the word go, it was formed under the potential of a government, unlike any other regional plan committee.